It was past midnight when Vincent got the call for his last delivery of the night. He'd been on his feet for hours, the cold biting at his fingers as he shifted the pizza box in his grip. He just wanted to get this over with and go home, away from the dark alleys and quiet streets that seemed to hold their breath, waiting. The address was in a part of town he'd never been before, the apartment building standing tall and jagged like a sentinel with its cracked facade and peeling paint. He hesitated at the entrance, the air damp and heavy with an inexplicable scent of mildew and something else, something metallic that stung his nostrils. The hallway was narrow, lit by a single flickering bulb that cast shifting shadows. He pushed the creaky elevator button, its rusted plate groaning as it lit up. The doors opened with a sickly screech, and he stepped inside, breathing in the stale air. 11th floor, he muttered, pressing the button. The machine shuddered beneath him as a crackle of static filled the air, followed by a low, groaning hum. The light sputtered, dimming to a sickly yellow before plunging the cabin into darkness. For a brief, suffocating moment, he was suspended in absolute black, the only sound the rhythmic thumping of his heart. Suddenly a jolt threw him forward, and he stumbled, grabbing the railing for support. The lights flashed back on, but it was not the 11th floor. The doors opened onto an empty parking lot, the concrete slick and cold. The wet slap of feet echoed through the lot, fast and approaching. Vincent's gut tightened, his breath quickened. He bolted back into the elevator, the sound of wet feet clapping on the concrete behind him. Just as the doors slid shut, a dark, clawed shape lunged at him, its fingers scraping at the metal. Vincent punched the button for the ground floor, but the cabin jolted again, and the lights flickered. This time, the doors opened to a hallway that looked familiar, yet wrong. The wallpaper was peeling, revealing twisted, pulsing veins that moved like living flesh beneath it. A low, guttural growl seeped from somewhere far down the corridor, followed by the sound of scraping nails. Vincent's breath came in short, stuttering bursts. He pressed the button for the ground floor again, ignoring the whispers that seemed to come from every corner. The elevator shuddered, and when the doors opened, he found himself on the 11th floor, the floor he had intended to reach in the first place. Must be imagining things, he muttered, gripping the pizza box tighter as he made his way to the apartment door. He knocked and waited, the seconds stretching until the door creaked open. A man stood there, eyes tired but otherwise normal. He handed over the pizza wordlessly, and Vincent nodded, the strange tension in his chest easing. Maybe he was just exhausted. He turned and made his way back down the hallway, the sound of his footsteps echoing softly. The weight of the night seemed to lift, his breath calming. He found the stairs and descended, the creaking steps no longer sounding ominous, but simply old. He reached the lobby, pushed the heavy glass doors open, and stepped out into the cold night air. Relief washed over him. He slid into his car, the engine sputtering to life as he started it. Vincent exhaled slowly, the tension melting from his muscles. He glanced in the rearview mirror, and a sudden chill surged through him. The hallway. The hallway with the peeling wallpaper and the flickering light. The figure at the end stepped forward, a dark shape with hollow eyes and a smile that stretched too far. The mirror cracked, and the reflection vanished.